This is the NBA Draft Lottery, presented by State Farm.
Anthony Edwards can do everything. I think he's the most talented player.
You're looking at the number one player in the country, a transcendent player.
This man is doing it in one of the best leagues in the world, outside the NBA.
Welcome back. Always so happy to bring in NBA draft analyst Jay Billis. Jay, who do you see getting their name called early at the top of this year's draft?
Well, Rachel, there may not be a consensus number one overall pick, but here's my top three. Started off with Anthony Edwards of Georgia, who is an outstanding athlete, a dynamic, multi-dimensional scorer that can go right or left equally well. The only questions about Edwards are his efficiency, his decision-making, shot selection, and whether he's going to be an engaged defender, but his talent is undeniable. Next is James Wiseman of Memphis, 7'1", a Chris Bosh-type left-hander who is mobile, skilled, very, very smart. His question mark, can he be a reliable three-point shooter and really stretch an NBA defense? And then LaMelo Ball, who played professionally in Australia. Mike Schmitz calls him the most talented prospect in this draft. He's a point guard with great size, exceptional creativity, and can really pass. The question, is he going to defend on the NBA level, and can he be a consistent perimeter shooter in the league?
Jay, thank you. And two of those players you just mentioned are here with us now, LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards. LaMelo, you went straight from high school to playing pro ball in first Lithuania, then Australia. How did that shape you? How did it shape the player you are today?
I think it made me a better basketball player than I am today. You know, really started taking stuff serious and just saw the world different. And then with basketball, put it all together, and then that's how that came.
Thank you. And Anthony, you took the more traditional college route. You started at Georgia. How do you think going through a year in college, being in the SEC, prepared you to succeed in the NBA?
I feel like it prepared me because I learned how to deal with bad games. Like I feel like I had a lot of bad games, so it taught me how to just take them under the chin and just move on to the next.
Excellent. Well, thanks to you both. We're going to be hearing a lot from you in the coming months. Now let's take a look at which teams have the best shot at getting one of those guys. This is, of course, a weighted lottery based on how teams finish the regular season. So Golden State, Cleveland, Minnesota, they all have a 14% chance at the top pick. Atlanta, 12.5%. And then here's everyone else. And remember, this is the board the Pelicans were sitting on last year. They came into the night with only a 6% chance, left it with the right to draft Zion Williamson. Will something like that happen again tonight? Well, the folks you're seeing on your screen sure hope so. Representatives from each of the 14 lottery teams joining us virtually this year, of course. And they're all hanging on every word this next man is about to say. Welcome into the NBA's Deputy Commissioner and Chief Operating Officer, Mark Tatum.
Thank you, Rachel. Good luck, everyone. Pick number 14 will be made by the Boston Celtics.
All right, so as expected, Memphis's pick goes to Boston due to previous trade conditions.
The 13th pick goes to the New Orleans Pelicans. The 12th pick in the draft belongs to the Sacramento Kings. Picking 11th is the San Antonio Spurs.
All right, so no surprises yet. Picks still going according to form.
Pick number 10 will be made by the Phoenix Suns. The 9th pick belongs to the Washington Wizards. Picking 8th is the New York Knicks.
All right, we have a double jump. That means that both Charlotte and Chicago have jumped into the top 4, while New York sits at number 8.
The 7th pick in the draft belongs to the Detroit Pistons. Pick number 6 goes to the Atlanta Hawks. And the 5th pick will be made by the Cleveland Cavaliers.
All right, so that means that we have in the top, the Chicago Bulls just got rid of Coach Jim Boylan. They'd love to pair a fresh, young talent with Zach LaVine. The Charlotte Hornets, you know, this is the first time they've improved their pre-lottery position since 1992. Are they lucky tonight? And Karl Anthony Towns and their lottery rep today, Mr. D'Angelo Russell, I know they would certainly welcome a new young star to join their roster. And Steph Curry still with us. If you're in that top group, we will see if you get the number 1 spot.
Thanks again, Rachel. The 4th pick in the 2020 NBA Draft goes to the Chicago Bulls. The 3rd pick will be made by the Charlotte Hornets. The 2nd pick goes to the Golden State Warriors. And that means that the number 1 pick in the 2020 NBA Draft goes to the Minnesota Timberwolves.
D'Angelo Russell, Let's just got to Minnesota a few months ago. You're already bringing the team such good luck. What do you think it will be like if you and Karl Anthony Towns have another number 1 overall pick to play beside you guys?
Wow, super exciting. I trust, Gerson as an organization. We trust Gerson and Ryan and all those guys to, continue making Minnesota, a home for, some of the younger guys coming up, and even for some all-star guys coming in. I think, it's the bar is set now, so we're excited to get it going.
Excellent. Thank you so much, D'Angelo. Good luck to you there. Here's the entire draft lottery order. Minnesota at the very top, and their trade partner for D'Angelo Russell, the Golden State Warriors at number 2, the Hornets at number 3, and you see the Celtics in there at number 14. They got that pick from Memphis. All right, so let's bring the guys back in here. Woj, from a franchise perspective, what is your biggest takeaway with the way the order panned out?
Well, for Gerson Rosas in Minnesota, he's almost turned that roster over since taking over a year ago. Talked to him earlier today. He was excited about the chance of getting at the top of this draft and really starting to dig down now into the details on James Wiseman, Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball. This for Minnesota, bringing in D'Angelo Russell in that trade, you now have a chance to have the makings of a Western Conference playoff team in years to come. And for Golden State at number 2, that pick is going to be very much in play in the trade market.
Interesting. All right, guys, on the player side, you both keep telling me there's no consensus number 1. So if it was you at the button, who would you take at number 1? Who would you draft, Jay Will?
Rachel, knowing that Andrew Wiggins was once there, knowing that Minnesota drafted Jarrett Culver, I like the makeup of this team. I go with Anthony Edwards. You can imagine if it's likes of D'Lo and Karl Anthony Towns with Anthony Edwards, with that size, that frame, that grit that he could bring to the table. I know there's some questions around his motor, but if he can be committed to the defensive end, and if he could build on that outside shot, which is mesmerizing to watch, the talent he could bring to that team, playing alongside a guard that can find you. I mean, people forget about how talented D'Lo was, even when he was in Brooklyn. I mean, he was an all-star, and now having him on the team with Cat and Anthony Edwards, if I'm Minnesota, I go with Anthony Edwards at the first pick in the draft.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Anthony Edwards is the best overall prospect. He does need to become a more engaged defender, and with his athleticism and length, that should not be too big of a leap for him to make that. But this is a very strong international draft as well, and I would not be surprised to see teams at the top trading down to get multiple picks. Let me take a look. Here's the top 3 on my best available list. I don't have a big board. I can't afford one. I've just got a yellow pad that's got my list on it. But I've got Anthony Edwards, number 1. James Wiseman, if he can stretch out and shoot the 3, I mean, he's got it all, and really a fantastic prospect. And there are some question marks defensively and shooting with LaMelo Ball, but Mike Schmitz, as I mentioned before, has ranked him as the most talented prospect in this draft. And another guy to look at is Isaac Okoro out of Auburn because he can really defend, and if he can shoot it, he could be a number 1 overall pick.
Jay, what do you think Golden State's biggest need is going to be? Do you think that they should make a deal for this number 2 pick, or do you think they should acquire someone to be alongside Steph, Clay, Draymond, and Andrew Wiggins?
Rach, it depends on, what other teams are willing to offer and, what kind of trade scenario can you put in place and how much value is that on the likes of the player that they're looking for. Obviously, that's going to be up to them to determine and Bob Myers. But when I think about a player who's actually on the board, I mean, think about James Wiseman. When you look at his size, and I know the sample size is small for people because he only played a limited amount of games at Memphis this year, but the size, the frame, the tenacity he could bring to this team defensively, fitting alongside with Draymond Green and Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson, as a screener, a pick and pop player as well, he might be one of the missing links for this team. The rich continue to get richer.
Excellent, Jay. Thank you. So you've heard from the panel here. Let's check our mock draft experts, Mike Schmitz and Jonathan Givony. Here's who they have in the top 5. LaMelo Ball going to the Timberwolves. They've got Anthony Edwards going to the Warriors, James Wiseman to the Hornets, Obi Toppin to the Bulls, and Deni Avdija going to the Cavaliers. For Mike Schmitz and Jonathan Givony's complete mock draft, go to ESPN.com/NBA/draft. And remember, the draft is scheduled for less than 2 months from now, so check out all our coverage on that.